Hey, this is just a little bit of a rant. A couple of things, just kind of tying some knots up. You can see here that I'm just kind of editing. So we'll start off with I'm not really going to ever be on camera ever. I'm talk mainly about Fuji and Sony, a little bit about Canon because I used to have Canon glass, and then of course most of us grew up with whatever our parents had, which is Nikon. I really liked Nikon at the beginning. I really did, and then somewhere in the middle of Nikon just stopped innovating. They stopped moving forward, and it jumped to Sony APS-C. I think it was like a 6000 or 5100. I don't remember. One of their first original APS-C mirrorless cameras, and I liked it. It was simple. Everybody always bitched and moaned about Sony's menu system, but their APS-C line had a really kind of just simple, you know, system, but they didn't have very good lenses. They were all kind of cheap, and either they were super expensive or they were like super cheap. There was no middle ground, and Sigma came out with a couple in the middle of all that. But it was it's kind of one of those things. And then I had a Canon. I used Canon when I used to work for a guy. I was a wedding photographer for him as a second shooter, primary shooter, but mainly second shooter all the time, and he's my cash cow, of course. 2019 hit 2020, and all that went away, but that's another story by itself. But I liked Canon. It was good. It was great. I used the old DSLRs and for wedding photography, and used the new mirrorless cameras right when they came out for wedding photography, and they were pretty decent. Still had my personal Sony and then Fuji at the same time, and I would use Fuji just for like certain photos. Like in a wedding, there's like a certain shot, I'd go run real quick, grab my Fuji, hang it around my neck. And at the time it was the XH1 mainly, the XT2 I think it was. I had it for a little bit, and I would get that one shot because I could get a really nice shot, really beautiful. The only thing I don't like, and I'll show it later on down the road, but the only thing I don't like is the battery life on the Fuji XH1, XT2, XT3. They just didn't have good battery life. I would burn through it. If I had the battery grip on the XT3, no problem. I could do a full wedding. I did a 12-hour wedding just recently with the XT3 only, and I went through 5 batteries. I think about 5 batteries. I was really on my 6th battery, pretty much burning through it pretty quick. I got a couple of third-party batteries. Don't ever do that. Just stick with the regular Fuji batteries, but for the most part, I got through it. I went through a 10-hour wedding with the Sony and went through 2 full batteries. So the regular Sony battery, burned through that one. I bought a cheap battery. I didn't buy the cheap battery. Somebody gave me the cheap battery, and I just kept it. Just never bought another one, and burned through that one. And luckily, I had another battery that was given to me, another third-party battery, and it was at like 70%. But that was a 10-hour wedding, and I think the third battery really didn't even have very much. It was like 80% or 75%, so I took a few shots on that one. So battery life for the A7 IV, A7 IV, A7 III, any of the newer Sonys are pretty good. The batteries will last 10 hours, full day, video and shooting. Canons, couldn't really complain. They did eat up a little bit of battery, but for the most part, and I never hear anybody ever say anything about batteries, but they run through batteries pretty quick too. But for the most part, they're all right, especially the mirrorless ones. The DSLRs obviously lasted forever, but mirrorless kind of chewed through them a little bit. Haven't shot with any of the new Nikon stuff. But anyway, going from that, I know most of you already clicked off already. So if you've been watching like some of these edits that I've been doing, the model here, she college girl, kind of just want to get out and do stuff. And I don't really listen to Peter McKenna, Maddie, or any of those Canadian guys that are all together, that whole little group, a little clique of people that are together. I don't really watch their stuff. Sometimes when I'm editing, I'll just run through it and cycle. There's nothing going on YouTube, and I'll put them like noise in the background. But for most of the part, I got kind of annoyed with them because they keep on saying burnout, burnout. Oh, I'm burned out. I don't know what to do. And they try to do different things, and they buy new cameras, and they think that it's going to change it's the same thing. And so with that said, I kind of understand what some of these people like Omar, Peter, I can't remember his name, Pal Tech too. A couple of them are just like they're burned out, making videos. And I kind of got that way with shooting with wedding photography for a little bit there. So I changed over to models and shooting with people and families. And I learned real quick that children are not, I don't have the patience for it. There's a girl I was working with, and I was helping her out with her baby. She was shooting baby, like she was taking photos of babies, and she did the whole maternity shoot all the way up to 1 year old for some families, and I just couldn't do it. I wasn't artistic enough for, I couldn't see the details. That's what matters to a lot of people, is the details. Most men or fathers, I could say, I'm like, whatever, I don't really care. Like, it's a picture of my baby. That's all that really matters. But like, I've come across a lot of just people in general, especially women, that are like, it's a detail dummy, and so I don't really see it. But like these shoots, these get me kind of going, kind of get me out of the rut. But I can't do too many of these shoots either. So like this young lady I shot with twice, maybe 3 times already, and I can't do. I'll start getting burned out. I can't do too many. I meet a lot of people, and I try to meet as many people as possible, because it's usually some of the models. I'll do the shoot for free. They'll pay for the studio. Sometimes though, if they want like high res, I'll be like, okay, it's like $50 or $100, depending on how many they want. But I give everybody probably about 10 photos, maybe 5, and it's just for fun for me. It's just to go out and do it. But weddings, I try to do a lot of the weddings as far as like paid shoots. So, but I get where these guys are coming from, that they get burned out. I get it. And if I do too many weddings, I get burned out. If I do too many model shoots, I get burned out. If I do too many family shoots, I get burned out really quick. But I've been going back and forth. If you've listened to my last couple of episodes, I lost my XT3, so this photo shoot was a little bit of XH2S. I think my friend had given it to me for this shoot. He was actually there with me, and so we shot a little bit with the Fuji XT2S. Same thing. And somebody just put it in the comments about my last video, because I lost it. Like, hey, you should get the XH2S because it saves you. And I think what a lot of people don't think about is memory. I finally just filled up my 5 terabyte memory card, and they get expensive. And luckily, there's a Black Friday sale coming up, so a lot of those 2 terabyte, 4 terabytes are on sale for $100 something. But I usually just get SSDs, and if I'm at my work computer, I'll have a hard drive of like 5-10 terabytes. My last 10 terabyte kind of fritzed on me. Luckily, I had transferred most of it over to 2 5 terabyte drives. It wasn't full. I think it was like at 4, maybe 6. I can't really remember, but it just stopped working. It wouldn't work anymore, and I had these other 2 drives that I hadn't been using in a long time because I back up everything. And so I just sat there and backed everything up one day, and it was acting funny. So I backed everything up, made sure everything was backed up, and then sure enough, it just stopped working. And I haven't really had the patience or the time to go back and see, hey, what's wrong with it? Maybe take it in, get it fixed. I just had some SSD drives and saved them. And that goes to the last part of, somebody had asked me, why are you getting, XH2S or XT5? And it's the memory cards. The XH2S has that CF Express. Those are expensive. And the XH5 doesn't. It has the regular SD cards. I don't really take a lot of video, so I need the backups, because I've had 2 in the last 10 years of shooting for weddings, plus 10 plus years. I've had 2 SSDs fail, and they and it sucks. It sucks when they fail. Well, anyway, this video's long. Just thought I'd just go in there, kind of go through a couple things, just talk to y'all, just kind of get things off my mind, and post another video. I don't know what else to say. Y'all have a great day, great night, and we'll see you on the other side.